Wait, before you click dislike, no, this is not 4 OP tricks that challenger players use and abuse. No, this is a real video, real concepts, and things that can actually help you improve. So if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and let's get started. So what are the 4 things that I came up with that help separate a great player from somebody who is only good or just bad or average, whatever it may be? What are the 4 things that I came up with that separate good players? First off, we need to keep in mind that there are many aspects to League of Legends. ArcSecond did a great video, what is the difference between all of the ELO tiers, and he gave all of the things that contribute to winning League of Legends games, and he wrote them all down, even from things like mouse sensitivity, everything that involves being good at the game and changing your ability to win. Some things are more heavily rated, like knowing your champion pool, knowing matchups. Obviously that's more important than the keyboard you use, but it still makes an impact. But I won't be going over those 20 different things. Instead, we will be going over 4 ideas, 4 concepts that you can use to help yourself improve at any elo. This really should work at any elo. Number 1 is willingness to accept your own personal skill level. What this means is to accept and figure out how good you are compared to people that are above you, people that are your elo, and people that are below your elo. So for this, you should start with your own elo. Compare your own personal CS numbers to people that you play against and play with. Are you winning your lane in CS? Are you losing your lane in CS? In game, be constantly checking tab and seeing how you're doing compared to the other people in the game. If you're playing AD carry and the enemy AD carry is up 15 to 20 CS on you consistently, that is something you need to work on. It's kind of funny, there's a guy that I coach and he's been slowly improving. He started off in silver when I first started coaching him, and now he's in gold, but the problem is he started off as a support main. So from the very beginning, when he first started playing League, he was told not to take the farm because that's his job as that role. You're not supposed to take the farm as a support main. Once he switched to Riven top lane, he was doing fine with lane trading. He was doing okay on a lot of different aspects of team fighting, but the problem is he just can't farm, because from the very beginning, when you're supposed to learn how to CS better and learn how to become good at farming, he just completely missed out on that. It's just not even in his brain because he didn't learn how to do that from the very beginning. It's not intrinsic to him. He would finish 35 or 40-minute games with like 150 or 200 CS. And not only does that let me know that he's not farming enough, so he's not in the side lane farming, he's not split pushing and creating pressure, he's grouping too much, but he's just not getting to that full build. He doesn't have that level of consistent income to get to his item spikes before other people. You truly can climb just by being better than your opponent at farming, because even if you fed them, even if you're 0-3, if you're 100 CS up, you'll have higher levels and you'll have more gold, because 3 kills is not worth 100 CS. So being able to accept your own skill level, being able to accept that you belong exactly where you are, is a big part of this. And I do need to touch on this point a little bit more because there's something that I didn't even mention. What happens if you are unranked? What happens if you don't have a rank? And I know that that is a lot of you. I know that when a lot of people message me either on stream or on Discord or on Twitter and they say what their rank is, I know a lot of times that that's not actually their rank. According to op.gg, at the time of me recording this, which is April 7th today, there are only 1.2 million players on the North American region that have a rank, that have played at least 10 ranked games. And you're insane. You're just wrong if you think that there are only 1.2 million players that play in the North American region. This happens in all of the regions. Only about 30% of the players at most play ranked. So what I suspect is happening is that players that tell me they're like silver 3 or silver 4, they're probably playing normal games with their friends a lot who may actually be silver, actually have the silver rank, and they're keeping up decently. They're playing against other silver players and they're not hard feeding, they're doing okay or average in a lot of the games. So they're telling me that that's their experience, that's their skill level. And while that may be true, while you could be keeping up with other silver players or even gold, even if you're playing normal games, you know, sometimes it matches you with like platinum or diamond players. Normal games are not a good determinant of how your skill level is. It's not solo duo only, so you know, you could be a team of 5 or whatever it may be. A lot of times in normal games, people just don't care. People are trying random things. They're not playing their main champions. Ranked is a completely different beast from normal games, so the only way to truly judge your skill is to play a lot of ranked. So that's enough on this first topic. Let's go on to number 2. Number 2 is having the drive or the commitment to be better. Now, unfortunately, this is pretty much the only thing thing on this list that you can't 100% control, and that's because of one big thing. There are only 24 hours in the day, and a lot of people have lives. A lot of gamers don't. Some of them just do this all day. All they do is play League of Legends and do nothing else. Maybe you have school, maybe you have work, maybe you have other things to attend to, maybe you're just not that addicted to the game. If you're only playing 2 to 3 ranked games a day, at most, you're probably not going to improve. I will not say it's impossible. I will not say never, because in life you should never say never, because that is a great way to be proven wrong. But I will say it is highly unlikely that you will become whatever you consider high elo, Diamond 1 Plus, Diamond 5, Master, Challenger, whatever you consider high elo. It is unlikely that you will get there if you play 2 to 3 ranked games a day. If you're not spending 8+ hours a day grinding ranked, you probably won't get to high elo. Why? Why would I even make that argument? Why would I tell you that's the case? Well, the problem is League is a multiplayer game, which means that the competition is other people. And because of that, a lot of the challenger players, believe it or not, are professionals or professional streamers. Obviously, there are still some, but I'll be honest with you, most of the Master Tier Plus players are not normal people, aren't just people that just randomly log on League a couple hours a day, just play ranked and be done with it. A lot of them, that is their full-time job. League has this amazing phenomenon. Video games are at a point where if you're fucking good, you can make money. Shockingly, money is a big incentive in the real world. If you're D1 plus, you consistently play against professional players or former pros in solo queue all the time. Almost every single game, there's going to be a professional or former pro in the game. You have to be good enough to play against those guys and compete with them. Another pretty big part of how good you will be is your prior knowledge and prior experience. I had very low, basically minimal prior experience when I started playing League. I'm not kidding when I say less than 2.5 years ago, I didn't even spend an hour a week on a PC. I had like a crappy little HP laptop that I never used. 2.5 years ago, I didn't even know what League of Legends was. I was playing Battlefield 4 on my Xbox 360. I had zero prior experience whatsoever, so I had to make up for that by playing a lot of League and getting really addicted to the game. But if you're moving over from Dota, or if you've played competitive shooters before, like Counter-Strike or something, then your mechanics will be there, and all you have to do is understand the knowledge portion of the game. But me, I had to understand the knowledge portion and just be good mechanically. And if you ask any professional player or high elo streamer, if they were completely honest with you, if you asked them how bad their addiction to the game got, if you asked them how many hours a day they probably played at one point, they would tell you there were days that they spent 14 or 15 hours consistently playing League. So it really is up to you. I'm just trying to be realistic with you. If you're not able to put in the time, you are not going to be a professional player. If you're not able to sacrifice so much of your time and sacrifice your entire life to this game, then you're not going to be a pro. You have to put in just as much time as the pros to be a pro. If you're like D5 aspiring to be a professional player, you do have to put in 15 hours plus per day if you want to get as good as them, because that's what they're doing. They are already challenger, they are already in the professional scene, and they're putting in 15 hours a day. You're D5 and you're only putting in 8 hours a day, so you're putting in half as much work and you're not even to their skill level yet, so you will never catch up. That doesn't even make sense. It's not how math works. Number 3 will be understanding your strengths and weaknesses as a player. If one of your best qualities as a player is laning, then you should play laning dominant champions. If you're top lane, play Renekton. If you're AD carry, play Caitlyn or Draven. If you're mid lane, play Orianna or Cassio. You should play around what makes you a good player and the things that you know how to do well. You should think about your personal strengths and power as a snowball. If you have good laning, play the champion that dominates lane. If you don't have good laning, play champions that hyperscale or just work on your laning. You really should just be playing around what makes you good as a player rather than playing a champion that will cover up what makes you bad. Take what you know how to do and just make it 10, 15, 20 times better. If you're great at roaming and helping your team, play Twisted Fate or Talia or an assassin like Talon or Zed. If you're great at team fighting, play control-oriented mages like Ryze, Cassio, or even play something like Syndra that can really space well. Just take what you know and make it even better. Lastly, number 4 is to look at somebody that's better than you and take in as much information as you can. The best example I can think of for me that I used is I watched this Korean Riven player named GTT. He is a Korean player, so I understand nothing of what he says. I have never understood a single word that he has said in any of his videos, because all of his videos are just like full game highlights from his stream, and I've watched his stream before. I don't understand a word, but I've learned so much from just watching his gameplay, because he is the best Korean Riven one trick there is. He is the highest rated Korean Riven one trick. He's like master 200 LP in Korea or something, and I've learned so much just by watching him. I don't have to understand a single word that he says to get better, simply just by watching what he does, because he's much better at Riven than I am. Just by the way he plays the lane, just by the way that he plays specific matchups, I can instantly improve by just watching how he does it, watching how fluid he is with his animation cancels, and everything that he does. You can just tell how experienced he is and how much better he is than me, because I can go back and watch my own replays and gather footage from my clips, and I compare it to how he does it and the way he plays, and he's just so much more clean than I am, and you can tell that he's much more experienced. He has put in the time to become a much better Riven player than I am, and he really is just the best Riven player I've ever seen. But it doesn't just have to be gameplay. That's the beauty of NA streamers. That's the beauty of people that do speak English, because you can ask them questions, but you need to ask them good questions. As a part-time streamer myself, and as somebody who watches a bunch of full-time streamers, I can tell you that people that are in lower ranks ask the wrong questions all the time. They ask dumb questions that will not get them anywhere. How do I get out of X elo, or how do I get out of being stuck in bronze, is a terrible question. That is a horrible question. And the reason why that's a terrible question is because, number one, it is too general, and number two, it changes for every single person. The reason why you're in a specific elo is dependent on way too many things, and is completely dependent on your own personal experiences. It depends on the champions you play, it depends on the role that you play, it depends on your own personal numbers and your statistics. A lot of times people will tell me things like, I'm hard stuck in an elo, or I'm stuck in bronze, and if they show me their op.gg, they're like 10-7 in ranked, and they think that only 17 ranked games determines their skill. First off, I just tell that player, well already you're doing okay because you have a positive win rate, but you need to play more games. 17 games is not enough. But when somebody actually is hard stuck, when somebody actually is stuck in an elo like 500, 600, 700 games in bronze, all you have to do is tell them that they just aren't good enough, and they won't understand it. They will still continue to blame their team. But until you are willing to accept that as the player who is like that, until you're willing to accept that 700 games is a big enough sample size, and that's pretty much where you're supposed to be, that is a great determinant of your skill level. When you're 700 games in, you're pretty much at the elo you deserve, at least for the time being. You can always improve and always get better, but 700 games is a lot to determine exactly like where you're fine-tuned at. So anyway, if this video was helpful for you, make sure you hit that like button down below and hit subscribe for more. I will be doing more videos like this in the future, so thank you guys so much for watching. Hit like, and I'll see you tomorrow.